Well, good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody today, and we do have some guests here today, and I want to begin with a proclamation. So Laurie and colleagues from the WIC program, if you'd come up. I think, is there a hospital representative here as well?
Oh, she's talking about the hospital.
So you're here as a part of this. Come on up, Kayla. And I don't know if any of you want to make some comments first, and then I'll issue the proclamation. Go ahead, please, Laurie.
The reason that we're here, the first week of August every year is World Breastfeeding Week, so internationally around the world, people highlight the importance of breastfeeding to not only our current health and our chronic health, but it impacts, immune system and health of future generations. So there's a lot of highlight. In Ohio, we celebrate Breastfeeding Awareness Month. We take the whole month of August because August is a busy time yet with vacations and schedules. And this year, the theme is centers around how breastfeeding protects not only the environment and the earth, but moms and babies, kind of for the same reason. It's an important public health foundation, and breastfeeding does not, you don't have, pollution and waste in making formula, in using resources, in, the waste from the cans and the bottles and things like that. So they're looking at kind of that entire picture of how breastfeeding benefits the entire world.
Thank you. Kayla, you have anything to add?
Thank you. I'm also here on behalf of the hospitals here in the county, with it being World Breastfeeding Month, in support of obviously continuing to increase that knowledge and the support of breastfeeding here in the county. I wanted to recognize that all three of our county hospitals are now participating and actively moving forward and increasing their tier. There's a 5-tier program the state put out last year, calling for breastfeeding to be included as part of the hospital plan across the state. So many times we're looking at how we can improve our breastfeeding rates and successes in the county, and this program brought to us through the state of Ohio with the Ohio Department of Health and the Ohio Hospital Association, called Ohio's First Steps for Healthy Babies. So that is just a free program for hospitals to just work through those 10 steps for successful breastfeeding to increase how the hospital is treating the moms who are coming in and making sure they have the most opportunity that they can possibly get to have the education and the support to make sure they're exclusively breastfeeding when they leave the hospital. And we are putting those steps in place. We really want to encourage just everyone to recognize the work of our hospitals here, since all three of our county hospitals have really stepped up to the plate and with our assistance and support are really working hard to make breastfeeding successful for the moms who are coming into those facilities. And we also want to acknowledge that the Activate Allen County website has resources available, has been for a while, but just to reiterate the fact that we have 11 resource pages that include information about breastfeeding, which were created with help from WIC and the hospitals, lactation consultants here in the county, just to allow moms to have those resources available at all times to them, and they also are in the OB offices here in the county. And we also have 2 pamphlet-style resources, booklets that are hopefully helpful to helping moms get back to work while breastfeeding, so supporting moms in their journey to get back to work and still continue to breastfeed. And then also an overall maternal infant resource guide, which kind of points right here to the county, our own Allen County, and what resources are available to moms and families as they journey through pregnancies, or everything from conception all the way up until after the baby is born, and what they have available here as far as housing and food, and how to make sure that baby is delivered as safe as possible and as healthy as possible. So we really want to encourage the community to see those resources on our website and get those out to anyone who may need that as well. So the hospitals are doing great, and our county is really improving as far as breastfeeding rates, and we're really excited about the progress and just the support of all three of our county hospitals kind of coming together and working through these things together, creating their own inter hospital coalitions and teams. And this really takes more than just the maternal and OB units to succeed. The whole hospital has to be on board, because it makes its policy changes, its operation changes. It's really more than just that unit of the hospital that's affected. It affects everybody in the hospital. So having the CEOs and having that support staff on board as well has been really important to seeing that growth and moving forward. So you can also look at the Ohio Department of Health webpage and see all the hospitals that are included in that, but you can also see that we have 3 in our county on that list of each tier. So we are really excited about that, and they are doing great work. So I wanted to recognize that today. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. I would emphasize this is not a natural conversation, though it's a natural subject. I think that what Kayla just described as the process that the hospitals are in is a good illustration, because for a long time the practice has been basically to with a new mother, to at discharge give her a bag of Enfamil or other kinds of product without any coaching around the issue of breastfeeding. And so getting the hospitals to understand that launch out the door is really the perfect opportunity to get folks educated to alternatives, natural alternatives to that has been a journey of some years, actually. So I do applaud what the hospitals are doing. I think it's important, but it's also been a lot of work. So we want to encourage that to continue. And it's in that context that I'm here to offer the following proclamation. Whereas the residents of Ohio are deserving of good health throughout their lives, and exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of newborn life, as recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics, provides the best possible start to life in all areas of development. And whereas the health benefits of breastfeeding for the infant include a reduced risk of obesity later in life, reduced risk of sudden infant death syndrome, fewer ear and respiratory infections, a reduced risk of developing both juvenile and type 2 diabetes, and an average increase of 6 points in IQ at age 6.5. And whereas mothers also receive benefits from exclusive breastfeeding that last a lifetime. Specifically, the longer that mothers breastfeed, the lower their BMI, blood pressure, triglycerides, waist circumference, and LDL cholesterol. Longer duration of breastfeeding also lowers mothers' risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. And finally, new evidence shows that mothers who exclusively breastfeed have a lower risk of depression. And whereas a 2010 study published in Pediatrics found that if 90% of new mothers breastfed, the U.S. would save $13 billion per year in health care costs and prevent more than 900 deaths annually. Breastfeeding also protects the environment by decreasing energy used to process formula and dispose of container waste. And whereas despite these benefits, the CDC 2014 breastfeeding report card found that only 70% of Ohio babies are breastfed any breast milk, and only 15% of these babies are breastfed exclusively for six months as recommended. And whereas the Surgeon General has issued a call to action to support breastfeeding, which in part focuses on the need for communities to increase societal support for breastfeeding. Now, therefore, I, David J. Berger, Mayor of the City of Lima, do hereby proclaim August 2016 as Breastfeeding Awareness Month in our community and urge all residents to join me in encouraging and supporting breastfeeding. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Lima this day of August 2016. So, ladies.
Thank you.
Good luck with your work. It's very important, and I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today we also have representatives from the Lima Senior Class of 1964 here. So I want to bring up Lee Snyder and Dixie Cotner, and they have a check presentation to make. So, ladies.
On behalf of the class of Lima Senior High Class of 1964, we'd like to present this check. We want to be a part of the Stadium Park project and provide the funds for a bench with our name on it.
We appreciate that very much. Yeah, we will have a bench installed, and there'll be a plate on it dedicating it in the name of the class of 1964. So what was special about the class of 64? Everything?
Us.
Special memory.
A special memory. you know, we're old, so our memories.
We were the Red Hat. Local boys.
Oh, the local
The local
boys.
boys was a big thing.
Now, if
in
you
that
talk to
those
anyone
days.
back in that day, they would know instantly what the local boys are.
Anybody
They
from-
wore red hats with white polka dots, which sounds kind of funny now, but that's what they did. But our class was, we had 525 in our class, graduating class. So it was a large class. And over the last 50 years, we have stayed together. Our class reunions have tremendous turnouts, and everyone looks forward to seeing each other. And so it's a pretty solid class. But we wanted to be part of this project, and so that's why we wanted to present this check today.
Well, we appreciate it very much. And hopefully there are some other alumni groups from both senior high and Lima Central Catholic who also might step up, because there's always additions that we can make to the park based upon having additional funds. So thank you very much.
Thank
Again,
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it being thought of. By the way, I'll have to, just so you're aware, we have to step through a legislative process with council, so they'll be taking action, giving us permission to actually accept this. So
Okay.
you'll see that in the paper. Thank you. Also, Vickie Shurelds is here with an announcement. And good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Mayor, and good morning, citizens of Lima. I wanted to, most of you know I'm with the Mizpah Community Center, and I wanted to, first of all, just let everybody know that we're wrapping up this week our summer program, which has been a lot of fun and, as always, very, very interesting. And we were able to take the kids through learning a little bit of Spanish this year. They also wanted to learn some sign language, and we worked on handwriting, since we don't do handwriting in the schools anymore. And so we've had quite a time. I've been really excited to work with them. They are extremely intelligent and extremely enthusiastic about education. So we've had a great time. And so we'll be wrapping that program up on Friday, taking a trip with them and just saying our goodbyes. And because of, as most of you know and have heard me say before, we did not receive funding. So it's been, it's all about creativity and what's important. And the children that we're working with now have even given me another layer of learning how it is important to be more focused on what it is you are doing than what could have been. So I want to thank, of course, Tom All and his family of dealerships for supporting our program as he has from the very beginning. Dominion, St. Rita's Mercy Health, First Federal, and for seeing the vision of what it is that we've been trying to do at the Mizpah. We also were able to put together some really strong partnerships with Rhodes State and Ohio State and Ohio Northern University. And of course, the City of Lima's Recreation Department helped us out a lot with the free programs for tennis and all of that the kids could participate in. So I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to the Lima City Council, to the mayor himself, and in particular our councilman, Dr. Derry Glenn, who continuously would step up and say, let's do this, let's support what the children need. The volunteers at the center, my cousin Ronnie Shurelds and my son TJ Smith and I, for the past 4 years have really sank everything that we are into making the center a viable place for the community itself. So in saying that, I am announcing this morning that as of Friday, I am leaving the center. I will no longer be the director at the center. I think that everything that we have put into it and everything that we have said about the needs of the people of the community of the South Side continues. And I just want to thank them for letting me be a part of what we were able to create over the last 4 years. And I thank you for all your support. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, we want to certainly applaud this summer's program, Vickie, but also acknowledge that your commitment has been over the top and very, very generous. So to you and TJ, thanks for what you've been doing. And I think everybody understands that you come to a point and you got to move on to other things. So, but thank you. Lastly, this morning, I want to share with the media the program for this year's Auto Summit, which will take place on September 16th. It will be held this year out at the new Apollo Career Center, and it previously has been held at Rhodes State College, and we've appreciated that, but we thought this year with Apollo opening the doors for their new facilities, it would be a great opportunity for us to not only be there, but also to showcase their facilities and what career options, particularly in manufacturing, are available through them. We also want to mention that our lead speaker for the day will be Dr. Mustafa Muhadaram, who is the chief economist for General Motors. And turns out that Dr. Muhadaram has a Lima connection. He is married to a Lima girl, and so it's good to be able to find those little small world connections that actually brings the rest of the world here. So I had met Dr. Muhadaram a couple of years ago at a meeting in Detroit, and just by happenstance discovered that he comes to Lima often. So it was a good opportunity to bring him back and to feature him as the lead speaker. He is he heads up GM's corporate economics team. He's responsible for assessing the impacts of worldwide economic developments. He's an expert on trade. He was GM's lead during the Uruguay General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, the GATT negotiations. He has been the lead for U.S.-Canada Free Trade Agreement, the North American Free Trade Agreement, and he's been very directly involved in the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations that have been underway. We will also have representatives from the Center for Automotive Research with us. They are regular experts that we were able to connect with through the Automotive Communities program that we're a part of. And we'll also have local speakers, our consultants that have been working with us through the Task Force Lima from Future IQ Partners will be here to talk about the future of manufacturing. So we're really excited about this opportunity. It's a very modestly priced opportunity for kind of a fire hose of information coming at you. It's $30 per person. That includes lunch and coffee to wake up with, and as we kick off in the morning. It'll be, again, on September 16th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Apollo Career Center. And hopefully, and you don't have to be in the auto business to take advantage of this. The general public is invited. So with that, and since Mr. Sawinski just showed up, we're ready to dismiss.
I just found out that about 12 minutes ago at the paper.
Did you ride your bike in?
No, I was told, I got there and they said, hey, Dave said, hey, can you cover the mayor's press conference? Forgot to sign into it.
That's all right. We appreciate you here. So we'll break down for interviews. Thank you all.